Perhaps the cruelest part of all was the world these children were born into. The biggest threat to a medieval infant's survival wasn't just disease or unsanitary conditions. It was the harsh reality of everyday life, where proper childcare was often a luxury families simply couldn't afford. Medieval parents weren't cold or heartless. They loved their children, but they lived in a world where love often had to take a back seat to survival. For most families, daily life meant unending, exhausting labor. Parents worked from sunrise to sunset, tilling fields, tending livestock, crafting goods, just to scrape together enough to make it through another day. Even then, one bad harvest, one injured animal, or one storm could plunge a family into starvation. There were no nannies or daycare options. The best a child could hope for was a sibling, often just 10 or 12 years old, trying to juggle childcare with hauling water, feeding animals, and doing their own chores. Childhood was short. Responsibility came early. Swaddling was common, meant to protect infants and help their limbs grow straight. But in some cases, babies were wrapped so tightly they couldn't breathe properly or suffered from poor circulation. A practice meant to keep them safe could end up doing more harm than good. Like wrapping a fragile gift so tightly, you crush it without realizing. Families with many children faced impossible choices. With limited food and energy, they often prioritized older children, the ones who had already proven they could survive. It was like tending a garden in a drought. You water the plants most likely to make it, and sometimes the rest are left to wither. High birth rates and the lack of reliable birth control meant more mouths than most families could feed. Babies kept coming, ready or not. Some mothers were pregnant again before their last child had even taken its first steps. And living spaces? Often just one cramped room, shared by grandparents, parents, children, and sometimes even servants. Privacy didn't exist. Individual attention for each child, nearly impossible. The sick and the healthy all breathed the same stale air, increasing the chance that one infection could spread through an entire household. The emotional toll was staggering. In many communities, infant death became so common that it was treated almost like a fact of life. Parents in many cases learned not to bond too closely with newborns because the pain of losing them, again and again, was too much to bear. The social, economic, and physical pressures of the time created a perfect storm. It's no exaggeration to say that infancy was one of the most dangerous phases of life in medieval history. In fact, making it to your first birthday, that alone was a miracle, a quiet triumph in a world that gave children so few chances.